See this low-budget title animation? Let that set the precedent for this film.
So after 10 years and about 1,000 email requests, I finally get my own parking spot.
Thinly veiled fourth wall break just to discuss a parking space. Movie inadvertently spoils appearances of Camulus, Apophis and Neity. And I don't know about you, but I always found the use of the word special appearance kind of weird.
Might never be another one of these. Tempting as it is, I'll be doing paperwork the whole time you're gone.
They'll be requisitioning enough budget to give me a more significant role.
Speaking of Jack...
He went ahead with SG-3 to officially hand over the prisoner.
We couldn't afford him here either.
The Free Jafar fleet stands guard over the Tok'ra homeworld.
Does it have a name?
No better than anyone, Muscles. This is an extraction, not an execution.
And so begins the game of what contrivances can we use to hide Claudia Black's pregnancy? Or is this just fat shaming now?
It is pretty incredible. Well, witnessing a gold being extracted from a host is one thing, actually experiencing it. To feel the sensation of the symbiote that has controlled your every action for so many years, when you watch helplessly from the darkest recess of your mind, as it's finally excised from your body and left to writhe like day. All that is incredible.
And that is Purple Prose. 3.2 seconds, my ass. The Tok'ra homeworld is apparently just a Magic the Gathering land card. Okay, you stand there and hide Vala's torso, but not all of it.
Never in the history of boredom has anyone been more bored than I am right now.
And we're less than 5 minutes into this movie.
It's almost over. The crimes are listing are starting to sound familiar.
Yeah, how did they memorize the entire list of his crimes, make them rhyme, and learn to sing them in unison like this? As we learned before,
It is pretty incredible.
this isn't the first time they've even done this. How is this practical?
It's not at all fair to the host anyway.
Who, the guy who's frozen in cryostasis where he doesn't have to hear this? Along with the accused? I think the actual prisoner got off easiest out of everyone here.
The prisoner will step forward.
Jesus, give him a chance to step out at least.
Murderer of untold millions.
I'm taking a sin off for that flattered look. I mean, come on.
I have nothing to say to the Tok'ra.
And after everything they had to say about you?
And, where's my dear Katesh?
We didn't want to run out of ways to hide her baby bump too early.
You all made a terrible mistake.
Cancelling the show or making this film?
We tracked them all, sir. This one is the last one.
Because the script says so, don't ask us how we know that.
Get rid of the last bad guy, and then there's cake.
I remind you that this came out a year after Portal. I guess Stargate SG-1's not the only thing being run into the ground here.
A recently completed fail-safe device. Should an unfortunate circumstance such as my imminent death arise.
No, not Clone 318, anyone but him. Man, CGI ships sure came a long way since Titanic. Also, naming your ship after a hero famous for an arbitrary weak point is just asking for it. This franchise really likes putting people in old person makeup.
Check to see the cargo's secure.
You're never gonna tell me what it is, are you?
Oh, is it a Stargate? I bet it's a Stargate! There we go. Also, why does the incoming Stargate rumble before the wormhole is established when there's no way it could know somebody's dialing in? Was this explained in Stargate Universe? Because I didn't watch that. Okay, we can hear it spinning. I know I'm 10 seasons and 2 films too late with this question, but why and how would it be doing that? Oh, I know. I'll stand on this crate so that I'm level with the Kawoosh of the Stargate. That way the props department won't have to make a smouldering pair of boots. Oh no! After losing a rather insubstantial portion of weight on one side, the ship is listing.
There are good.
Carter?
I know we're still supposed to be guessing at this point, but the film was literally marketed on it being about Baal shifting the timeline. I'm no theoretical physicist, but I'm fairly sure the abrupt alteration of causality that would occur from somebody going back in time wouldn't look like this.
Sir!
Go to the gate.
Not without you.
Jesus, what was in that needle that made a grown man die in seconds from an owie in the shoulder? Weren't they going to put that in the host to carry out the extraction? I know shoulder wounds can cut off vital blood flow, but this seems a bit fast, and when you consider how many other shots they keep holding just to achieve that feature-length runtime, you'd think they could make this one take just a little longer. Okay, so Cam reacts very directly to Grandpa Mitchell's leg wound, meaning we now know they're actually running on San Dimas time. If that's true, then why are the Tok'ra already disappearing if Baal hasn't yet returned through the gate to start wiping them out? This whole sequence with the Jafar taking the ship is actually pretty damn cool, but what's with this random discretion shot of a guy just falling down after a flash, and then still moving?
Dial the chopper eye. Show the wormhole filming. We can't afford to do it again.
And by the way, no, I am not questioning the back of the crate being blown out. The objects immediately behind it still being there, on the other hand. It's a good thing he knows he needs to get rid of that bomb. Bleeding out slowly is much more comfortable than the instantaneous death from being blown up that would also prevent other potential enemies from salvaging the cargo. Godzilla called. It wants its sea explosions back. Yes, the 1957 one. I'm sorry, I just can't get over how goofy the causality-induced fade animation is. Yeah, nothing in particular. I just wanted you to stop dialing for a moment and look behind you. Just run past the camera. We only rented Tokra Homeworld to Tokra Homeworld from one angle. And a million slash writers just gained inspiration.
Looks like the active gate warmed things up for a bit.
Warm things up?
Yeah. Because the temperature's falling again.
The Stargate, not only known for its ability to travel between worlds, it's been used to jump through time, cross into alternate realities, blow up a sun, bargaining with the Russians, potentially blow up a planet, and heat a room? What a f***ing finale this is turning out to be.
Alright, so Vala and Teal'c disappear into thin air.
Sure, just keep touching frozen surfaces with your bare hands. I can't see that turning out badly. No, seriously, stop that.
Mayday, mayday.
Mayday, mayday, Freezer Bird just took a layer of skin off my hand and it really stings.
Yeah, because it was the ship that brought the Stargate from Africa to America before the outbreak of World War II.
Had to establish that somehow, I guess.
We just passed -40.
Celsius or Fahrenheit?
That temperature, they're the same.
That line made me laugh and I'm taking a sin off for it. Then again, it also made me go and look it up, so back it goes.
I'm already starting to lose the feeling in my fingers.
And you haven't even been stroking frozen metal surfaces. Imagine how Mitchell's doing. What a curiously inconvenient occurrence. Oh my goodness. Sure, why not have SG-1 climb a wall of ice while holding torches? They've done just about everything else. Careful not to miss those cushions.
The ship was warmer!
Well, it won't be anymore.
Look, we'll just have to help you walk.
No, don't bother. I don't have time to shoot the next scene.
Once that sun rises, it's gonna warm right up!
Okay, granted, this is not my area of expertise, but I don't think that's actually how night and day on the North Pole work. Again, not an expert here, but shouldn't that ice be too unstable to leave your friend waiting for a rescue?
Oh, shit.
Gotta push up that age rating somehow.
Back at the ship, they got all excited when he said, "Do you realize what this means?"
Well, obviously, the ball had gone back in time and stopped the ship that was carrying the Stargate from ever reaching the United States.
I know Sam and Daniel are really smart, but I do find it funny how quickly they guess exactly what Baal did.
That is a terrible plan.
Considering the inconsistencies we witnessed with how time travel was affecting the timeline within a few minutes of each other and how it could have ended up screwing him over too, I have to agree.
Something went wrong and we were not supposed to make it back to Earth alive.
Yeah, given that Mitchell suddenly got hurt at the exact moment when present-day Baal injured his grandfather in the past, if his bomb had gone off where it was meant to, would we have seen present-day Mitchell spontaneously combust? The fans who hated the final 2 seasons must have felt really cheated.
Or maybe because we were in transit through the Stargate when the timeline shifted.
Sure, why not? The Stargate's functions randomly explain everything else. Lost wandering montage to dramatic orchestral music cliché. Also, the gorgeous landscapes of Tokra Homeworld to the Tokra Homeworld only got to be seen from a single angle, and yet they went to the trouble of shooting on location at the Arctic Circle of all places, which was so far out of the way for them to do that they couldn't get Michael Shanks to clear his own schedule for it and had to contrive a way for him to get frostbite in the foot. Who budgeted this film?
Mitchell, I don't know what you're doing in the Arctic with a dead astronaut.
Cryptic exposition.
Thanks for the ride.
We're always happy to help the Air Force.
What? No inter-service rivalry? I didn't realise how much the lack of a Stargate program would mess up the timeline.
We need a couple minutes to debrief those two.
You mean those 3?
What?
No, I won't explain my confusing interjection. O'Neill looks legitimately annoyed by that.
The sub actually came up about half hour after you guys left.
And didn't dislodge the ice that was already loosened by the Achilles going down. What the hell is up with Mitchell in this shot? Was Ben Browder trying to hold a poo in or something? He keeps looking into the camera too.
You have no idea what this is.
You're the astronaut. You tell me.
Character confuses other character with thing character should already understand cliché.
11 years ago, your son accidentally shot himself with a loaded 9mm he found in your closet.
All right, stop it right there. My kid is fine.
The successful delivery of the Stargate to the US in the 1930s somehow indirectly ruined O'Neill's life.
Obviously, some things are different in this timeline.
Except somehow for everything Baal needed not to be, as we'll see later.
But what you have to understand is...
No, I don't. I don't have to understand anything.
O'Neill's dismissive attitude accidentally speaks for half the fans after season 8.
Stargate Command is a branch of the United States Air Force.
Founded in 1997.
Mitchell is said to have read every file extensively while in rehab, but forgets the year the program was established.
Seriously, who would make this shit
I don't
up?
seem to give a rat's ass.
Okay.
Still pushing for that feature age rating.
We have a daughter named Caroline. You're wild about fulvous whistling ducks.
Stop right there, son.
Thank goodness for that. I'm already reminded of him doing that mating call. Ugh.
Sir, if you don't mind my ass.
You don't exist.
Ball must have killed the crew when he gated aboard.
Wow. You're literally a grandfather paradox.
Too soon, Sam.
That's what Dr. Lee said.
AKA Sir also not appearing in this movie.
Ball must have built some sort of temporal device.
Carter, just say...
Time machine.
Yes.
If and when the Navy gets this Stargate up and running, you can come aboard as consultants. The arrogance of what you're asking us to help you do is mind-boggling.
Agitated military officer enters stern reprimand with the word boggling.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'd like to go back to my wife.
Landry is divorced in the original timeline. Is there anyone whose lives the Stargate didn't ruin?
And my very pleasant retirement. And you all have new lives to begin.
Also, alternate timeline Landry really rubs it in that his life is really, really good. What a dick. Is that stock footage? I think that might be stock footage. So they can't hide Claudia Black's pregnancy, render half the Stargates so far, or give us a title sequence that was made in something other than Windows Movie Maker, but for being unable to schedule Michael Shanks to shoot the scenes in the Arctic, they go out of their way to hide his left foot. We now know his leg was amputated above the knee, but 1 year later he's walking and we can see his knee. Dear Lord, that mugshot. Even original timeline Jackson is visibly spooked by it. The exciting conclusion to the adventures of SG-1. Grocery shopping! You can see the frickin' Rice Krispies on the other sides of the box that they've tried to disguise as a generic name brand cereal. And the cereal box itself looks like a 6-year-old designed it in Pokemon Print Studio. By the way, Fruities with that particular spelling were an actual children's product in Malaysia. The more you know. You'll be seeing and hearing it in your nightmares. Another time of year wasn't exactly established by the film. Maybe it's just a warm December, but what's with those Christmas lights?
What's the name? Mitchell. Cam Mitchell.
I thought they were given new identities. Prosthetic leg clearly attaches below the knee when earlier footage shows the leg missing above the knee. Good thing he's using that blanket to hide his keep his stump warm. Wait, are these scenes happening concurrently? I thought other than Alaska, the US time zones were 4 or 5 hours apart at the most. Daniel flat out says he's
Calling from the States.
So what the hell? Alien craft that Carter immediately recognised both by sound and sight conveniently flies over where she's finishing up her shopping trip.
Hello. Sam. This is so great. I was just thinking about you guys.
No, you weren't. You were asleep. Oh, and it's now even later into the night where Jackson was, but still broad daylight for Mitchell and Carter. Alright, so as a person whose knowledge of our solar system is a trifle basic, I have no idea where this establishing shot is supposed to be. What is it, the edge of Jupiter or Mars or something? I must preface this by saying I'm not trying to be chauvinistic, I'm simply jumping on established character traits, right? But this Goa'uld is wearing an uncharacteristically unrevealing outfit. I wonder why. Oh right, it's just another unsuccessful attempt to hide pregnancy. Did they get any of this film's scheduling right?
Bring in the prisoner.
So this whole walking scene is designed to tease the idea that the prisoner is Teal'c, but turns out to be Apophis on his knees, except there was no sign of him being led or dragged here. He just kind of appears behind Teal'c.
Was it just off the top of your head?
Oh, f*** off. Symbiotes can apparently pass through solid brain matter now. And for what could have been a very promising return to form for the system laws for one final movie, especially with the way the opening titles all but spoiled this appearance, instead Apophis shows up for 30 seconds to die. I can only imagine the constant neck pain his handmaidens are under.
You may tell your warriors that their dream of freedom is one step closer.
Jafar! Lord Baal's promise of freedom is one step closer! What does that mean, sir? That is all the previous steps plus one! Yay! Wow, I wonder what her knee is hiding. Okay, anyone who looks from the side, including their servants right here, can see that Katesh is carrying the Harcesis, a human child born of 2 Goa'uld hosts, which we know to be strictly forbidden by their laws.
Ra, Neoti, Cronus, Siparkner, all once powerful system lords, and now they all serve you.
Whereupon they might not contribute anything else to this film.
There is no nation on this earth that does not share in our resolve to defend our world.
We often see in alternate timelines that if it were not for the events of the Stargate program, Robert Kinsey would have been president instead, and apparently wouldn't even have done a particularly bad job of it, so what's this guy doing here again other than to please a few fans, I guess? Jackson is effortlessly walking on that prosthetic leg when mere hours ago he needed a cane and kept taking the thing off in bed.
That's the SG-1 I read about.
What? The SG-1 you read about were a bunch of wackos screaming, "Oh god, the multiverse theory is real!"
Sir, it's good to see you.
If you say so.
Keep piling on those fan service cameos. And at last, we find out what roles the other system lords we've been looking forward to seeing will play in SG-1's finale. Standing in a f***ing line while Baal talks at them and they say a single line apiece.
Camulus has kindly offered one half of his domain, Australia, to the free Jafar nation.
I have said no such.
Your generosity brings a god to tears.
There really is no timeline where Camulus isn't a complete bitch, is there? Poor lad. Wait, 2 belts? What, is he preparing for a cameo in the next Kingdom Hearts?
Please forgive this primitive means of communication.
Nobody wonders why this supposed alien overlord has such an unassuming South African accent.
Put that down.
And before the age of smartphones too, Katesh's foresight might even be better than Baal's.
The edges of the Shikra blade have been honed to the thickness of a single atom.
Which would make it annoyingly impractical, as you'd have to resharpen it after every few cuts.
I must keep my hand very still, for fear that one slip will cut you in half.
Pretty sure Baal would know that already, so was Katesh really explaining this to the audience?
You haven't allowed me to leave your side in 50 years.
I wonder what a year is in their time anyway.
You realize Baal is going to figure out where we're headed before we get within 1,000 miles of McMurdo.
He thinks we're dead, remember?
Well, no, he just thinks you're living completely different lives unaware of his existence.
We lost contact with McMurdo. The first report was something about brilliant flashes of light in the sky, then explosions all over the compound.
And we, the audience, didn't get to see any of it. Then again, you should be used to that by this stage.
Stay back, Teal.
So this blade, with which she has to be extremely delicate, can now be used as leverage to turn the victim to face somebody else. None of this false move cutting him in half. That gore effect as Baal is sliced in half looks awesome, but it was probably also what drove up the age rating enough that they put all that edgy language in earlier on. Now with all that said, I've been making fun of the directors and producers for long enough for not rescheduling around Black's pregnancy, so it's time to deduct a sin for her stealing the fucking show. Here we see the Goa'uld wiping at the United States. What we do not see is how this is playing out on the ground. We see none of the consequences of the attack itself, we just kinda see the attack.
What city's that? Washington.
I guess I'll try to feel bad about that. I stand corrected. We get to see a wobbling camera in a bland concrete set. Truly the terror of the Goa'uld is unmatched. Yeah, let's tease the audience with another shot of yellow rain that doesn't really mean anything. I want to make a golden shower joke, but I'm just too unenthralled. All that nothing destroyed!
You're from Chulak. Your best friend goes by the name of Braytak.
Go gadget info dump of trust.
Your best friend goes by the name of Braytak.
Another character not appearing in this movie. Teal'c puts the dial on the pad that spins, we hear the gate spin up, but nothing actually spins. And then he clearly retrieves the dialer, which should be anywhere else on the gate right now.
This is Baal's failsafe. It has to be.
Just trust me on this, the movie's runtime is almost over and we need to end it soon. Carter can suddenly read Goa'uld now, which would be necessary to operate this computer, except that text looks Alteran, not Goa'uld, which we know Carter doesn't actually understand. And even if Carter could read Alteran numbers, they count in base 8, which I doubt she'd be able to calculate on the fly like this. He'll be back. Ventriloquism. Let's save some more money and gain more running time by replaying an earlier scene. Mitchell goes through the gate, which we're told will send him back to 1929, which means he would emerge in Giza, where the gate is known to still be at this point, and he lays low for 10 years to sneak onto Grandpa Mitchell's ship along with the gate, briefly poses as his grandfather, and shoots Baal as he emerges from the gate. That's quite impressive. Also stupid. If they weren't going to show any of that, not that this film shows as much of anything, why couldn't they just have the wormhole come to roughly this date and have Mitchell show up, hide in the cargo hold for a few minutes, and then kill Baal? It's established that a symbiote can willingly murder the host while blended and take them down with them, so why doesn't it?
Nope. That's pretty much the extraction ceremony right there.
O'Neill has been to one of these before, but somehow didn't know about the hours and hours of singing their list of crimes.
I guess that was worth seeing.
No, it wasn't. I can't get over how cheap these credits look.